Hello and welcome to the Evening News for Thursday, February 20, 2014. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. In the headlines, Eccles Cambio dealer gunned down on Lombard Street. Nigel Hughes settles dispute with Mays school owner. Aviation Authority to make crash reports available to the public. Allboys man found dead in front of his house. Auto dealer's wife accused of planning his execution maintains innocence. And government says it was not consulted on AFC's AML and PPC proposals. Now for the news in detail. An Eccles East Bank Demerara Cambio dealer was this morning gunned down during a robbery on Lombard Street in Georgetown. Bashar Mohammed was on the scene and has the details in this report.
Moments after leaving his Eccles housing scheme East Bank Demerara home, well-known Cambio dealer 41-year-old Bridgelal Prasad was gunned down in the vicinity of Builders Lumberyard, Lombard Street, Georgetown, by two gunmen, after which they carted off with a bag containing at least 2 million Guyana dollars. According to information received, the man was in his blue Toyota Ram, and as he approached the truck park at Lombard Street, two men armed with handguns walked up to his vehicle and opened fire. One bullet reportedly struck the man to his head, while others caught him in the regions of his legs and abdomen. After shooting the businessman, one of the men reportedly stretched into the man's car and took out the bag with the money. They then made good their escape in a waiting motor car. The businessman was rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The police are presently working with a few leads as they continue their investigations. At the hospital, one of the man's relatives related her concerns to the Evening News.
A very good person, you hear? Work hard from scratch and build up himself. No, this man in here, he die. People shoot him. You know, they shoot him and just blow his brains out, and they're going to go scotch-free in Guyana. They kill, and they walk in like the innocent, but there is a God above. What you sow, you have to reap it here on this earth. When I get home, message come to my daughter, answer the phone, and I eat the washing cup of pizza cloth. And I hear her say, he died. I need to know who died. Then I hear she say, be by dead. I start to holler. Be by, why you had to be you? Why you worked so hard for him? He got his wife.
A cousin of the dead man explained when he knew of the shooting.
When I left home, I get a call here, my cousin got shot on Lombard Street, and they robbing. But we didn't hear he died. No, we didn't have no more money. But he had a bag with money at the back seat, they didn't get them. They get the one in front that we had for him. When I reached down there, the police said, they know if he dead, but they come at public hospital. When I come here, there's a get the message that he died.
When this newscast visited the man's home in Eccles, his immediate family declined to offer comment. Prasad has been involved in the Cambio business for the past 15 years. He would normally conduct his business in the vicinity of America and Water Streets, Georgetown. He leaves to mourn his wife and 4 children. Bashar Mohammed, The Evening News.
Meanwhile, the wife of auto spares dealer Deokaran Sanasi has spoken out against the allegations of her involvement in a failed execution attempt on the life of her husband. Let's find out more in this report.
I'm innocent. I know nothing about what's going on.
That was the wife of the businessman Patricia Sanasi, who today vehemently rubbished allegations that she and her brother had schemed to have her husband Deokaran Sanasi, known as Ram, killed.
He holding innocent people. Innocent. I'm his wife. I lived with him for 29 years since I was the age of 16. What am I supposed to do? Why you think or why the media or anybody would want to feel that I am involved in this?
The woman told reporters that her husband needs to get himself checked out, as only a mentally ill person could cast such allegations. She added that she is surprised by all the allegations circulating in the media.
I am innocent. I knows nothing.
Somebody in New York is blaming you as well. They said that they're aware of the plot.
Yes, I heard the tape. And that somebody happens to be my brother. Right? I heard the tape.
He's lying?
Eh?
He's lying?
If he's lying?
If he's lying about what?
If he's lying about
Of course. I don't know what he's talking about. How can that boy happens to be my brother, says something like that, and that's a blatant lie.
Meanwhile, Vishnu Prasad, the woman's younger brother, who is also accused of conspiring to kill the businessman, has proclaimed his innocence. He said that he and his brother-in-law had planned to get into business together, so he sold his property in the U.S. and returned to Guyana. However, he noted that by the time he got here, his brother-in-law was already shot, and then the following day, he and his sister were taken into custody.
Until now, I have no idea what's going on. I think I'm still dreaming. I don't know what's going on. I have absolutely no idea what they're talking about and what's going on. I saw my brother-in-law last night. At Plaisance Police Station, because my sister went there to drop off the paperworks. That's his daughter. That's his elder daughter. I went in there and I talked to him. I said, of course he didn't speak to me. I said, Ram, you guys need to fix this. Is it possible that you and your wife can fix this? And he ignored me, right? I have nothing against him.
The man continued that the allegations cast by his brother in New York may have stemmed from property issues.
He wanted to buy my house for his big son, and he wants to give me next to nothing. And I told him no. I live in America 24 years, and I drop out from school to work, and I did an honest job, and I saved my money. And I buy my home, and I had every single thing in my home. And I tell him, no, I am not going to sell you my home for this amount of money. My other brother said that he is going to buy it from me. And I sell it to my other brother because I get more money. I get what I deserve, and I'm not going to say more money because we're family. I get what I deserve for the house, and I get what I deserve. And the land that my mom has a land in Better Hope, and it's on the tape that my brother wanted that land too. And that's the land where we were going to go do business on, me and Ram.
Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manik-Chan.
Citizens have staged another protest action in the city as they intensified calls for the Director of Public Prosecutions to deliver speedy advice on the matter. More in this report.
The Colwyn Harding support group executed another protest today, this time in front of the Ministry of Home Affairs. The demonstrators stated that this exercise is a reminder to the ministry that these kinds of actions will not be taken lightly and justice for Colwyn Harding must be delivered.
We're going to continue to do it until something is done because we just can't allow it to go like all the other cases. This is the time that we have to take a stand and try to stop this nonsense from happening to anybody else.
And how
until
is
justice is done. Colwyn is recovering.
Since Harding's arrival back in the country, there have been different forms of engagement to keep this issue alive. On Sunday last, a church service and forum was held, with the church promising to carry out 10 days prayers and fasting for Harding to recover from his injuries.
Government pathologist Dr. Vivekanand Brijmohan conducted a post-mortem on the body of another murder victim, Dinesh Harilal, also called Kevin, aged 20, of number 11 village, West Coast, Berbice, on Wednesday. According to the autopsy result, the deceased succumbed as a result of cerebral hemorrhage and multiple fractures of the skull. Harilal was found dead sometime between 12 hours 30 and 1 hour on Monday morning at a residence at the Edward Village, West Bank, Berbice. The man was stabbed to death and beaten with a rolling pin by Satrohan Madre called Bluey. The police responded promptly when summoned and upon investigations discovered the friend Bluey hiding at the back of the building where the dead man was found. He is expected to be charged with the capital offence of murder when he appears at the Fort Wellington Magistrates Court on Thursday. The Aircraft Owners Association of Guyana has presented a draft aviation policy to the National Competitiveness Council. More in this report. The draft aviation policy was accepted by the National Competitiveness Committee last week, which is chaired by President Donald Ramotar. The proposal seeks to make several major changes to the aviation industry and includes recommendations for the upkeep of hinterland airstrips. This is according to President of the Aircraft Owners Association of Guyana, Michael Correa.
Urgent among the industry's recommendations in the proposal and for immediate attention are independent aircraft accident investigation and prompt public reporting of the findings of these investigations, and more importantly, actions taken by the GCA to avoid a recurrence, which is the whole point of accident investigation. 2, a national search and rescue system with appropriate protocols under the Civil Defense Commission, achieving and maintaining a Category 1 US FAA IASA status, and a recommendation has been made for funds to be provided in the 2014 national budget. 5, and very important to us, implement industry's recommendations for hinterland airstrip development to accommodate larger aircraft.
Speaking at a press conference today, Cryer noted too that with the implementation of the recommendations, the aviation sector will safely remain on its progressive course.
There is absolutely no doubt that there is considerable room for regulatory improvement and enforcement, for which the industry aircraft operators have been calling for some time. The industry, and we are all here today as testament to that, will resolutely stay on that course.
Aircraft operators have recently come under heavy fire after 2 planes crashed under varying circumstances. Questions were raised with regards to the safety measures that have been implemented and are in operation at the airports across the country. This is the Evening News. Stay tuned. More news ahead. Welcome back. This is the Evening News. Police in Berbice are still investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of a man in his 50s who was found lying in a pool of blood on a desk at his place of employment. A post-mortem conducted on the body of 56-year-old Kenneth Kanai of Gangaram Village, East Kanji, Berbice, by the government pathologist Dr. Vivekanand Brijmohan on Wednesday, revealed that he died as a result of shock and hemorrhage due to gunshot wounds. The Home Safe Security Service employee was the only person on duty on Thursday, February 13th, when he was found dead in the compound of the Canefield Nursery School. According to a police report, the man's body bore 2 gunshot wounds, one of his forehead and another on his lower back. Police said they were not aware of any motive towards the slaying of the security guard. However, according to unconfirmed reports, the late Kanai was expected to give evidence in a preliminary inquiry into a murder later this month and is allegedly the second witness to have been killed. Police sources close to the investigation said that 5 persons that were in police custody and questioned about the murder of the 56-year-old security guard have been released on bail. The Canadian High Commissioner to Guyana, Dr. Nicole Giles, opened her home last evening for a silent auction and fundraiser in support of the Guyana Help the Kids Foundation, a registered Canadian charity established to reduce neonatal mortality rate in Guyana. More in this report.
The Guyana Help the Kids Foundation also seeks to implement sustainable changes to medical education and technology in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. Health Minister Dr. Barry Ramsuran and Human Services and Social Security Minister Jennifer Webster were among the brightly dressed guests who perused the 48 items up for bidding at very reasonable prices. Dr. Giles, in a brief address to the gathering, said that since her entry into Guyana, she had developed an appreciation for the number of Canadian-Guyanese medical partnerships that are currently working to develop the health sector in Guyana.
The medical professionals in these partnerships selflessly and tirelessly work at these initiatives. They often travel to Guyana out of their own pockets, using their vacation from work and families to support and provide training for Guyanese healthcare professionals and to advocate for those who cannot do so for themselves. They have quietly but steadily had a positive, lasting impact on the lives of many in this country.
President of the Guyana Help the Kids, Dr. Narendra Singh, in his remark, said that Guyana has made significant strides towards the reduction of the under-5 mortality rate through the implementation of the comprehensive immunization, nutrition and management of common childhood illnesses programs.
But in so doing, it's unearthed something quite interesting. Now that we're saving the bigger kids by these initiatives, the babies or the neonates are the ones that are now making up a larger part of that under 5 mortality. So because of the insight, insight of the ministry, ourselves as an organization, we decided to start a few different strategic initiatives to address this issue of neonatal mortality. So we embarked on this adventure, Guyana Help the Kids, which I started a few years ago in partnership with the Ministry of Health, the hospitals, the Pan American Health Organization through my good friend, Dr. Rosalinda Hernandez, and many other partners in this initiative. And our primary goal was to save as many of our Guyanese babies as possible.
Dr. Singh, in explaining the work of the neonatal program, revealed that a 24-bed state-of-the-art neonatal intensive care unit was opened at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation in March of 2012. He said smaller units were opened at the Linden and the New Amsterdam hospitals a few months later. He also said that the program has seen the graduation of 2 consultant pediatricians, 11 neonatal nurses, and trained many nurses in Linden and New Amsterdam. Dr. Singh said that much has been achieved in a very short time. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
CXC students at Mays Secondary can now sit their exams peacefully as the legal matter between Mayfield French and Nigel Hughes appears to have been settled. Let's get more from Gabriela Patram.
Attorney and chairman of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes, says that the civil action brought against him by the proprietress of May School in Brineville property was settled yesterday, with the payment of arrears to him which were then paid over to the Hand in Hand Mutual Life Insurance Company. This was stated yesterday at the Alliance for Change weekly press briefing.
The balance of the purchase price on the agreement was not, since 2006, was not paid until yesterday, February the 18th. This is despite the fact that the millions that Ms. French claims that she expended on the property. The payment, along with the arrears in the mortgage, were paid over to Hand in Hand Mutual Life Insurance Company yesterday to liquidate all the outstanding sums due owing on the mortgage, and the civil action that was brought by Ms. French against me has been settled. The payment of the balance of the purchase price and the arrears in the mortgage, which have been paid over to Hand in Hand, and they have agreed to cancel the mortgage forthwith, and the transport is to be passed by the registrar.
On the 17th of January 2014, Mayfield French sued Nigel Hughes, the Hand in Hand Mutual Life Insurance Company, and the registrar of the Supreme Court in respect of a property located at Lot 29, Brineville, Kitty, Georgetown, upon which part of the school has been built. In the court papers, French is contending that since February 24, 2006, she purchased said property from Nigel Hughes for the sum of $20 million. She paid $8 million as a deposit and went into possession. Transport was supposed to be passed within 8 months, and a mortgage on the said property was supposed to be paid off before the passing of the said transport. In the meanwhile, the property was built up by French with buildings constructed on it as part of the school's building complex. According to French, she spent nearly $400 million on the said property. The portion which was bought from Hughes houses classrooms of May Secondary School, the canteen, the auditorium offices, washrooms, and other administrative and learning spaces. However, Hughes never passed the transport at that said time. In an invited comment, the owner of the school said that she is happy and putting this issue behind her so that she can focus on the children that are sitting the CXC exams. For the Evening News, I'm Gabriela Patram.
Copies of the laws of Guyana were handed over to the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ, on Wednesday for its judges to familiarize themselves with the laws which govern the country. The law books were handed over to the president of the CCJ, Justice Dennis Byron, at the Guyana International Conference Center by Legal Affairs Minister and Attorney General Anil Nandalal. Along with the law books, copies of the law reports of Guyana were also handed over to the CCJ. The CCJ panel recently concluded a 3-day itinerant sitting in Guyana. The first 2 days, cases were heard, and on the third day, a special sitting was held in honor of the outgoing judge, Desiree Bernard. The court held previous sittings in Barbados in April 2012 and Jamaica and Barbados in March 2013. The court views these itinerant sittings as important to ensuring that it is accessible to the people of the Caribbean community which it serves. The Guyana Civil Aviation Authority will be making its findings on airplane crashes and other accidents available to the public in the near future. Here are details.
The Guyana Civil Aviation Authority will be making its investigative findings and reports available to the public. This is according to President of the Aircraft Owners Association of Guyana, Michael Carrillo.
We were pleased to be informed that a number of Other positive initiatives were also being taken by the GCA, which concur with our recommendations. Among those are the GCA is presently conducting a review of the entire regulatory aviation framework. 2, the GCA's commitment to hold regulatory meetings with industry stakeholders in order to generate greater collaboration across the board on addressing the needs of aviation. 3, training of air traffic controllers has been enhanced as many have benefited from international training. 4, the GCA agreed to post reports of aviation accidents on its website. 5, the securing of Category 1 status for Guyana is being addressed. We were assured. Timeline of 18 to 24 months was given for this.
Karai noted that the availability of the findings to the public is a major step and is pivotal to the industry moving forward. He added too that the flight operations oversight function must be strengthened and enforced. Reports from incidents and in particular airplane crashes were not available to the public in the past. Calls were made for the results to be made available to the general public after key stakeholders meetings were held. For the Evening News, I'm Gabriella Patram.
In the courts, 2 men appeared in court today before Magistrate Anne McLennan in the Georgetown Magistrates Court charged for carjacking. Marvin Samaru, aged 45, of Lot 10, No. 2 Village, East Kanji, Babis, a taxi driver, and Christian Ganga, aged 24, of Queen's Park Village, West Coast, Demerara, were not required to plead to the charges after it was alleged that on Sunday, February 16, at Adelphi Village, West Coast, Babis, they stole motor vehicle PPP 3149, valued $1.2 million, the property of Jonathan Ricknott. The 2 accused pleaded to the other charge, which stated that during the period Sunday, February 16 to Tuesday the 18th, the 2 accused fraudulently claimed to be the owner of the vehicle by changing the number plate to HC2799. Police prosecutor Denero Jones objected to bail due to the nature and gravity of the matter and noted that the 2 were charged before and convicted for another matter. He further lamented that a confession statement was in their possession from the 2 accused and more charges are likely to be pressed against the defendants. Bail was refused. The 2 accused are expected to make another court appearance on February 25. In case you've just joined us, you're watching the Evening News. Stay tuned. More news ahead. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. In this report, we'll hear that the Alliance for Change, the AFC, is willing to support the passage of the anti-money laundering bill, but not before it made another demand. Here's more.
The Alliance for Change has proposed a compromise that could lead to the passage of the anti-money laundering bill. The party has come up with another mechanism that will see the government having powers to object to contracts, but the Public Procurement Commission (PPC) must be established before the party supports the anti-money laundering bill. This is according to the AFC Executive General Secretary David Patterson. The party, during a press conference yesterday, said that it's prepared to work with the government to set in motion systems that will see Guyana being able to give a satisfactory report to the Caribbean Action Financial Task Force on the 28th of this month.
This would call on the government to set aside inflexible positions and meaningfully engage the political opposition. The AFC has said that it is willing to support the Anti-Money Laundering, Countering Terrorism Amendment Bill, provided that the Public Procurement Commission is established. We understand that the government has reservations about setting up the commission, and we have indicated our willingness to compromise to reach a mutually agreeable position that best satisfies the needs of the nation.
Patterson stated as a compromise and in an effort to move this process forward, the AFC has prepared draft amendments to Section 54 of the Procurement Act, which they have already shared with the relevant stakeholders.
These amendments further enshrine the rights of all complainants, including Cabinet, to object to the award of any contract. In the interest of ensuring Guyana benefits from both a working Public Procurement Commission and an amended anti-money laundering bill, the AFC extends the offer of compromise. We believe that the Guyanese people deserve no less.
In the proposed draft of Section 54 of the PPC, it is stating that all complainants shall have the right to object to the Public Procurement Commission on any procurement award, which the complainant finds disagreement with, and the complaint shall notify the PPC of its objection to a procurement award under the section no later than 21 days after that procurement award is made. For the evening news, I'm Gabriella Patram.
In the courts again, 2 men appeared in court today before Magistrate Anne McLennan at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, charged for unlawful assault and simple larceny. Bernal Hudson, aged 39, of Lot 3462 Pastel Housing Scheme, South Rhinefeldt, and Marlon Dolphin, aged 26, are both countersuing and pleaded not guilty to the charges. It was alleged that Hudson on Friday, February 14 at 11 hours 30 caused bodily harm to Marvin Dolphin while driving motor vehicle GPP 9260. It was also alleged that during the period of December 10, 2013 to January 3, 2014, Dolphin stole 2 pairs of Air Max sneakers valued $70,000 and 1 pair of Prada sandals valued at $45,000, the property of Bernal Hudson. Joel Ricknott, police prosecutor, had no objections to bail. He said that Dolphin was charged before for embezzlement and robbery under arms. Bail was granted to both men, and Dolphin the sum of $115,000 and Hudson the sum of $500,000. Both men are expected to make another court appearance on March 10. More news still ahead. Stay tuned. You're watching Legal News. This is the evening news. Welcome back. The police have launched an investigation into the death of a 52-year-old labourer who was discovered in the street in front of his home in Allboys Town today. Alexis Rodney reports.
Vibert Samuels of Coconut Walk and Calendar Streets, Allboys Town, was found with a bullet wound to the back of his head. The dead man's sister, Maureen Samuels, said that she was early this morning awakened by a strange sound.
All what I know, I wake up this morning 5 o'clock, and at 5:30 I hear a noise outside, and when I heard the noise, I hear somebody saying that don't saucer move, don't fight back, and all what I hear after then a gunshot. And then I run out to my window and I look out and I see a person on the ground on the road, and the boy was standing with a bicycle.
The man she described was tall and thinly built. Samuels said that during that time she was unaware that the man lying on the street was her brother.
After that I realized like it was like my brother, and I came to my door and I opened my door and I ran out to the gate and see my brother lying on the ground, but the boy was already leave and gone.
She said her loud screams brought neighbors and other family members rushing out. Samuels said that the father of 3 will usually leave early in the morning to buy orange. This morning was no different. She said she was unaware of any problems her brother might have had with anyone and couldn't say what might have caused someone to commit the gruesome act. The man's pants pocket was empty, with the tablets he used for pain spilled all over the street. She suspects he was robbed as well. The family is awaiting the post-mortem examination, which is expected to be performed on Friday before funeral arrangements be made. He leaves to mourn his 3 children and 9 siblings. For the evening news, Alexis Rodney.
The Town Clerk's office has commenced the sale of spots for the Mashramani celebrations this year. Spots are available on Vlissingen Road between Carifesta Avenue and at the Botanical Garden Gate. The evening news understands that spots are also available at the Merriman's Mall from Vlissingen Road to Cummins Street. It advised that the sale of these spots can only be done through the office of the Town Clerk. All payments must be made to the city's Treasury Department after potential buyers of spots have obtained an invoice from the Town Clerk's office. Spots will be available for sale daily until Saturday, February 22, 2014, during office hours 8 to 16 hours. More news still ahead. Stay tuned. You're watching Legal News. Welcome back. The People's Progressive Party Civic, the PPPC, and its Progressive Youth Organization, PYO, have launched their MASH band, which focuses on Guyanese folklore. Let's take a look.
The inaugural float parade of the People's Progressive Party and Progressive Youth Organization was today launched at Freedom House. The model revelers were decked out in leopard print outfits. Organizers of the float noted that they will be catering for 300 plus persons in their band, and those desirous of participating will receive free costumes. Alexi Ramatara, sitting member of the PYO committee, explained that the MASH ban came about as a result of the members seeing the need for more youth participation in activities, and since MASH is youth-oriented, they decided that a float would be a purposeful idea.
Masherman, as you guys know, is a very youth-oriented activity. So that is why the Progressive Youth Organization, and you see PYO people across the board here, has taken a lead in this regard, because the PP sees the youth as a force in the future. It sees the leadership of the PYO youth groups and within the PYO as being the future leaders, future presidents of Guyana. So this is one way. This is why we have to get involved. It's a very nationalistic, very nationalistic, progressive, cultural mixed event.
The float, launched under the theme celebrating our unique identity, cultural diversity, and progressive destiny with folklore in 2014, will feature this year's Chutney Soca monarch Puran Siraj and popular drama Magic Fingers. For the Evening News, I'm Gabriella Patram.
This is the Evening News. Stay tuned for sport, sponsored by Marcorp. Welcome back. Now for a look at sport, sponsored by Marcorp. In the headlines, Omar Khan excited about second Limacol Caribbean Premier League, Albion to focus on cricket development in 2014, and a National Resource Centre to be commissioned tomorrow.
We believe that everything worth building should be built just once. But that is why we build on culture, on trust, on integrity. We exist to do more, better, faster, safer. Your success depends on the foundation it's built on. Everything we do is meant to move you forward. Marcorp, let's build Guyana together.
Now for the details. Manager of the Guyana Amazon Warriors franchise, Omar Khan, says he's excited by what's in store in the second edition of the Limacol Caribbean Premier League later this year. During an exclusive interview with TVG earlier today, Khan expressed optimism that the tournament will once again be a tremendous success as it was in 2013.
Well, of course, one of the things that is already encouraging is more matches, playing more games, and of course each territory will have an opportunity to host at least 4 games, which is it gives you an opportunity to really showcase the players that we have on each franchise, and more importantly to get the fans involved in the cricket. And then we also have the opportunities for sponsors and television coverage. So there are tremendous opportunities there, and highlighting West Indies, the Caribbean and West Indies country. It's an opportunity also for a tourism market, for people to look at the Caribbean, have opportunities to see what we could showcase, our talent, our culture, and all the indigenous practices that we have. And I'm sure that people look forward to that. Talking to many of the international players last year, they just love coming to the Caribbean to play cricket. And it's an opportunity again to have these international cricketers coming to the Caribbean to interact with and to play together with our local players. I'm sure they're going to learn from each other, and I'm sure it's going to improve our cricket overall.
Khan has been here in Guyana over the past few days working with the Guyana Amazon Warriors franchise, setting the groundwork for another successful campaign by the local franchise, which ended as runners-up to Jamaica last year.
Very good. We are trying to put things in place. As you know, this year we are trying as much as possible to fast forward and have things properly planned long in advance rather than waiting last minute to put things in place. So we are identifying some of the areas that we need to look at in terms of, the draft for the players should be done sometime in April. They haven't confirmed that yet. right? But we are looking at identifying some of the players we could retain, looking at offering some players, retainer contracts, as I said, trying to identify some of the other players that we have in Ghana, based in Ghana, who we feel that could add value to the team and be part of a successful team. I could tell you, like a player like Leon Johnson, who wasn't part of the Ghana Amazon teams last year, but this year, he's one of the players we are looking at. We still scouting around to see all the international players who are available. Availability is a key, as you know, with the ICC having changed their whole structure now. It's important for us to look at the Future Tours program and see where that window of opportunities is for players from different countries, whether they'll be available or not.
The second Lima Call Caribbean Premier League will take place from July 10 to August 16 with a total of 30 matches, an increase of 6 games from the inaugural tournament. Cricket development will top the agenda for the newly elected Albion executives during 2014 following the hosting of its annual general meeting last January. We spoke with the Secretary Veeman Walter, who disclosed the club's plans for the rest of the year. During an interview with this newscast, Secretary of the club Veeman Walter said a packed program of activities has been prepared for the rest of 2014 with specific emphasis on cricket development.
We will continue to have our annual cricket academy that is in July or August. We will be restarting our weekly kiddies trainings program, and that will be restarting from this Saturday, whereby youngsters between the ages of 6 to 12 can come along. We'll be having coaches and senior cricketers working along with them to expose them to the basic fundamentals of the game.
Walter added that many of the club's top cricketers of this era would have passed through the youth program, and the aim is now to maintain a production of quality players who can hold their own. He revealed, however, that the club has not been able to produce a certain breed of cricketers, and the executives are keen on rectifying that soon.
We do have a serious problem here at Albion whereby we are not being able to unearth fast bowlers. So what we are planning to do is to identify a couple of individuals who we feel that can make good fast bowlers and have our coach, Mr. Andrew Percival, work along with them so that we will not just be able to produce quality spinners as the Bishus and the Permars and the Motis and so forth, but we can have some up-and-coming fast bowlers not only to represent Albion but Maurice and Ghana and the West Indies.
The Albion Cricket Club is headed by Pastor Lloyd Camden, who was elected unopposed for a 13th consecutive term in January. Still in cricket, Ed Joyce starred with the bat as Ireland earned a famous 6-wicket win over the West Indies in Wednesday's T20 clash at Sabina Park, Jamaica. West Indies scored 116 for 8 of their 20 overs, Chris Gayle top scoring with 18 and Alex Cusack, Kevin O'Brien and Tim Morgat taking 2 wickets apiece. Joyce contributed 40 not out and Andrew Pointner hit 32 as Ireland triumphed with 5 balls to spare. The Irishmen will play the World T20 champions again on Friday. And 3 South African top-order batsmen were among the runs as the hosts closed on 214 for 5 at stumps on day 1 of the second test against Australia in Port Elizabeth. Opener Dean Elgar led the way with 83, while Faf du Plessis scored 55 and A.B. de Villiers was unbeaten on 51, scoring another 50 for 12 straight test matches. Spinner Nathan Lyon has so far picked up 2 for 47 for Australia, who lead the series 1-0 after a commanding victory in the opening test at Centurion. And finally in sport at this time, President Donald Ramotar will commission a National Resource Centre at Numprel Park, making the facility available to the sporting fraternity. More in this report. The facility, which is located in the compound of the Racket Centre on Wolford Avenue, was completed last year. According to Director of Sport Neil Kumar, the commissioning of the building will be done at 16 hours on Friday by President Donald Ramotar and will be followed by a lecture by Professor Clem Sicharan an hour later. The Resource Centre will serve as a training ground for officials and administrators, amongst other functions. Kumar said it is the hope of the Sport Ministry that the centre can evolve into a sports secretariat where the history and achievements of the various disciplines can be housed for future reference. The Resource Centre was constructed at a cost of approximately $50 million, Kumar divulged. It will provide direct employment for an estimated 25 persons. Kumar also stated that plans are in train to have 5 lawn tennis clay courts be laid at the eastern end of the compound. And with that, we've come to the end of sport. Of course, you can find these and many more stories in tomorrow's edition of the Ghana Times. And here's an invitation to join us on TVG Channel 28 and on Radio Ghana Inc. 89.3 in Essequibo, 89.5 in Georgetown and Environs, and 89.7 in Berbice and Unicary, Suriname. Stay tuned. Your Bridge Reports.
believe that everything worth building should be built just once. That is why we build on culture, on trust, on integrity. We exist to do more, better, faster, safer. Your success depends on the foundation it's built on. Everything we do is meant to move you forward. Mark on. Let's build Guyana together.
This is the evening news. Welcome back. Now for a look at your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed on Friday, February 21 at 8 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Friday, February 21 at 7 hours 50 for a period of 1.5 hours. And with that, we've come to the end of the evening news for Thursday, February 20, 2014. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching.